Well, Dave, was that a game you feel you deserved to win today?
I wouldn't say we deserved to win. I think we did enough that if I was stood here having took 3 points, then I wouldn't by any way stretch your form think we'd stolen them. But we probably just lacked a little bit of quality. I thought we started the game really, really well, and then momentum was taken out of it by some officiating that wasn't great, if I'm honest, and that just killed the game really, and become really frustrating. But we, like I say, looking at us, we just like that bit of quality, decisiveness. Keepers made a couple of really good saves. So on another day, I don't think our performance was too dissimilar to what we performed like when we won 5 games on the spin. The fine margins. If we'd sat here with a 1-0 win, it would be a different feeling than it currently is.
It was a strange game. You mentioned the officiating there. I mean, I think we were all crying out for a foul for Carl Lutton because he wasn't getting anything all afternoon. When he does get one, you clean through down the right-hand side with Will Collins, a clear advantage. How frustrating is it when things like that happen?
Yeah, that's the most frustrating because, and listen, we probably shouldn't get frustrated because I speak about being things outside of our control. They are outside our control, but that they play a huge part in what the game looks like and what the game sometimes ends up in terms of the results. Again, I haven't got a clue where we are. We talk about raising the bar in terms of what fouls are and aren't. But there's just no consistency around what a foul is and what isn't. And today, everywhere else on the pitch, if you were stood with the ball in front of you and there was someone near you, if you fell to the floor, you got a free kick. And I include our players in that. It's pretty embarrassing at the level we're playing at. I think you're forcing players into making decisions that ultimately know they're going to get free kicks when they've never been free kicks. And I don't know what the solution is to that, but it needs sorting out. It needs changing. There needs to be a level, like I say, a level playing field. At the minute, I don't think there is game to game.
You came out last week at Barrow obviously quite angry with the performance. Despite the 5 wins that had preceded it, you were angry at what went on at Barrow, understandably so. You made your changes today. Jacob Davenport comes in for his first start for the club. How do you feel he did today?
Yeah, I think he was hampered by a booking that, in my opinion, wasn't a booking. And from, I'll look back at it, but from where we're stood, he goes to make a challenge, there's no contact whatsoever. Similarly with Ryan's booking, we get 2 yellows for in my opinion, 2 nothing challenges. That makes it more difficult for him. He showed bits that were really pleasing in terms of he'll get on the ball and he's got a really good range of passing. Would like to have seen that more. But I think he was hampered certainly by walking a tightrope after 10 minutes, especially in the role he played. They had an extra player in there in terms of playing with almost two 8s and 2 10s. Yeah. But pleasing signs, and I thought he did more than okay in terms of what we expected from him and what we asked him to do.
How frustrating is it sometimes? I think we talked about this right at the start of the season. Teams are going to come and set up like that and defend against you. It is difficult sometimes to play through. And do you have to be patient sometimes? Is that the key to these?
You do. It's a balance. Listen, I think that you sit back and reflect, and you have to take that as a compliment. We've spoken to them. Listen, they were very clear around, and he was speaking to Danny after, was very clear around where they were. It's a great point for them. They play Harrogate and I think Wimbledon next 2 home games, Tuesday, Saturday, and feel that if they can pick up 6 points in from those games, home games, which they perceive as easier games, then it's a good week for them. So we have to accept that, and that's part and parcel. I think it shows how far we've come, and if 6 months ago we were sat here saying that you'd drawn at home to a team that not very long ago were in League One, and we were sat a little bit disappointed, a little bit frustrated, we'd absolutely take it. So sometimes, like you say, you've got to take your medicine a little bit, and you have to accept that they've come and done a job and go away with a point from their side, a merited point, and we're all a little bit disappointed. But that's the way football works. We've raised the bar. We've increased that optimism, and optimism sometimes comes a little bit of expectation. Sometimes expectation doesn't always happen, and you've got to take it. And we get another opportunity to, I suppose, alter that feeling on Tuesday, which we have to now take. And if we can, over the course of the next, as we said, with 16 games to go, if we can average 2 points a game, that'll take us to close to 80 points. I think my feeling at the time was probably 80 points is maybe just going to finish outside of the top 3.
Okay.
But there are challenges ahead for other teams. All of a sudden, again, Stevenage are on a sticky run that no one ever seen coming. And the gap between, I think Carlisle are now second, and we're 6 points behind them. We've still got to go there. There's loads of football still to be played. We're at the part of the season. I said to the players there, I was listening to the rugby league last night, and Paul Wellens was speaking for head coach at St Helens about pressure being a privilege. We're at that position now. We've got ourselves into a position where there is pressure on winning games. But we've got to embrace it. We've got to, you know what I mean, really take it on board. And hopefully, at the back end of the season, we have some really exciting games. And the ultimate aim hasn't changed. We want to get out of this league, and hopefully we give ourselves every chance to do that.
I guess one thing that will help is your big names, your big experienced players in every department of the pitch coming back from injury now. Fraser Horsfall, Anthony Sarcevic, Paddy Madden as well. That's a real lift for you now.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have them back. From a management perspective, we want to be able to pick, as difficult as it might be, and it might be easier where you've got 7 injured. We want to be able to pick the team that we feel can win us that game. Their experience, know-how, I suppose, feeling, understanding of what it takes to win massively help. Not just help us, help other players in the team that maybe are coming into a period that they've either not experienced for a while or they've never experienced before, especially in this environment with 10,000 in here every week. So yeah, they will need help, and without question, the ones that, like you say, we've got back, those experienced winners will absolutely help us in that aspect.
And you've got a game in hand on some of the teams above you, and that game's on Tuesday. Gillingham, of course, improving recently.
Yeah, very different team than what we would have played 8 weeks ago, whatever, when the game was supposed to be played. But we've got 2 games against them in not too long a period. They'll come again. I would expect, thinking that if they can go away from here with a point, then it would be a good point for them, especially on a Tuesday night. So we've got to do everything we can to, I suppose, force the issue without being massively gung-ho and risky in terms of how we go about it. But if we can find the quality that I know we have within the group and play like we did today, then we have a really good chance of winning. Hopefully that'll be the case.
Sure you will. Dave, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Cheers, John. Thank you.